Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect. Today we're jumping back into some more FTB Skies. And today we're getting into Ars Nouveau. So I hope you guys are ready. Today I want to expand my magic prowess. I want to become a bit more powerful. I want to be able to dash and to do all kinds of cool things and not stay stuck to the ground. And even get a set of armor that I can incorporate my elytra to. Well, we're gonna be getting into Ars Nouveau, and I'm pretty excited for this. I am honestly, I love this mod. So, and there's a bunch of add-ons that are in this pack. Now, I'm gonna be spending a little bit of time over here in this area. So let's go ahead and clear this out. This is gonna be one of our magic locations. And yes, I should be able to fit most of the mechanics inside this little 9x9 room. Now, emeralds are going to be my friend because we can actually take our cleric villager and we can buy source gems right away. This saves a whole bunch of time because source gems normally require a little bit of time and an imbuement chamber. And if you don't have any source, you're going to be waiting a little bit of time for this to work. Of course, you can accelerate it if you have a time in the bottle. Notice 18 hours, my gosh, has time really got 19 hours has time really gotten away from me. But let's go ahead and get into Ars and some of the things that we're gonna actually need. I have 36 source gems. That's gonna be plenty for right now. There's something that I want to make to get access to a villager, and that is an Arcane Core. Now this is important in its own right, and it's a pretty useful tool, but we need to make some source stone. We're gonna need a lot of that. That's gonna be used quite a bit. But this Arcane Core is gonna be used for our villagers. So let's take a trader. Let's make a new one and a villager and just put the two together. And we will have ourselves a new villager. And it's a very special villager. It is the Shady Wizard. Yes. Okay. So you can see right here, this guy will trade raw source. Elemental source from elemental craft. That is going to be a huge thing in the future, but this Arcane Core can do a lot more. So let's make sure we have enough emeralds to be able to buy things. It looks like we can grab this. This is like the frost fruit that grows on the trees if you had them in the overworld. It looks like Wildenhorn. We can also get mirror weave. Is this just a building material? No, this has a use. I am unfamiliar with this thing though. So while I'm waiting for this guy to sort of loosen up here, I think these can convert into any material. So like if you want a facade block, a block that you can change, let's say you want diamond blocks everywhere, but you're afraid they're going to get converted, well, you can just place one of these down and place a diamond block on it, and it doesn't actually consume the block, but it does. Oh my gosh, these are really cool. So if you want to build out of some expensive material, you can just use this. So yeah, this guy is pretty awesome. So this trader, the journeyman. So we can buy a couple of things off of them. It looks like the tablets. This is a tablet of flight, which is used in a ritual. These aren't too bad to make on their own. I've got to buy them out so we can try and get this guy leveled up. These are tablets that are used in the ritual pedestal, which we'll be getting into potentially later. Let's get all of these bought up. And then we get a Drigme shard and another Drigme shard. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to also get another one. I don't know if these are both supposed to roll Drigme. But I mean, there of course is a chance. And it seems like it also rolled double on the source berry pie as well. I'm going to try and get another trader set up and see if we can't roll different rolls here. Thankfully to do this, all I have to do is pull out my Shady Wizard here and put another one in. And then we get a new reroll. So this is amethyst shards, and this is basically trading back and forth for emeralds. Let's re-roll this and see what all can actually spawn through this. It looks like we can get totems of undying from a starbuncle and artifacts. Some source berries, which we can buy from another villager. There's some interesting rolls right here at the start. I kind of like this one though. Now I do have this hat that I got from the quests. That is the villager hat, and I should be able to use this. And yeah, it reduces the costs of everything. That is even nicer. So yes, these do offer different trades, and this is offering a Wixie and a Whirl Sprig, and that's the little thing with the helicopter on top of its head. And a Wixie is like a little witch that you put on top of a cauldron. It can do potion brewing and stuff like that. Now this right here is actually a very important trade. This is the Echo Shard, and it's actually needed in the overpowered quest line. So definitely worth nabbing this. To do that, we're going to need Amethyst Shards and Source to be able to just activate the trade and go ahead and level it up. Which is, yeah, not too bad. I do have a little bit of Amethyst, and of course, we get Source pretty much for free, so long as we're generating emeralds, which we are. There we go. We have ourselves some Echo Shards. And it's crazy. This guy is summoning the Wilden, which is actually a boss. And so this is, to make this, you had to have some of the materials. It's not super cheap, as you can see. And you add a couple of other ingredients to this, and yes, you can summon in the boss, which is actually needed to get to the last tier book in Ars, which I'm going to explain a little bit further here soon. And there we go. So I now have 4 of these. I wanted to get myself a Starbuckle Shard that I could just buy off of one of these guys. So that's what I was really looking for. We also got Sourceberry rolls, which is really nice. And this is a Tablet of Awakening, which is used to summon things, depending on what modifiers you put on the summoning table. So yeah, and then a Tablet of Sunrise, which I believe is a time-based modifier. So it's kind of cool to have all of these, but we definitely want the Starbuckle. And so I now have several different villagers that I can use for different things. These are for the main task, of course, Echo, the Totem of Undying, and the Source Orbs. Now, overall, the base premise of Ars is really easy to kind of wrap your head around. And if you need any help in relation to this and the understanding of it, well, that's where making this spellbook is going to be your best friend. So when you open up this spellbook, which you're going to have to assign a key to do so, in which in my case, I ended up setting it to one of my mouse buttons on the side, and I can just open up my book. You can see here. And this opens up a lot of information. We have documentation built into this book. We have a color picker, familiars, which allows us to do some things with those later on. Sound settings, you can definitely change that. And these change the way the sounds activate on your spells. And then we also have dynamic lighting, technically. And so if you were playing without shaders or anything like that, you can turn on dynamic lighting and your spells will actually cast light through the air as they're moving along, which is pretty cool. And of course, you always have the place where you can support all of your great mod devs. Join their discords. And just like you do with me, be sure to support your mod devs. Now, making our first spell is going to be really, really cool. And we can technically have access to a fireworks spell, but it's too powerful for this current book that we have. So upgrading the book is definitely going to be a priority, and it seems like it's going to be a pretty simple task for us to do. But we have the ability to break, and you kind of build your spells. So first, you need to form, and then you need to add an effect to the form. So the form is going to be like a projectile where you shoot something, or you're going to apply it to yourself, or it's going to happen to whatever you touch. So I can apply a break effect, and we can name this break. And then we can also, let's go ahead and create it, and it's creating to this slot. You have 10 of them. And we can change the color of it to be orange, for example, and make sure to save that. And let's see, can we also change the sound? We can increase the pitch and make sure that's saved. All right, so that's the break. So what we should be able to do now is right click and it breaks. And notice the sound is a little bit different than normal. You can hear it there. It's a very quick sound. You can modify that, which is pretty cool. And it's also orange. And so yes, this can break blocks. It's actually quite effective at breaking blocks. However, we do have some better tools. So breaking is not exactly what I want. I actually want the ability to dash. Now you can also assign buttons to your specific wheel, and you can open up an access wheel. For me, I have it set to C, and you can open this up, and if you have multiple spells, you can just quick select. There's another way you can do it as well. You can just assign a key to one of these spell slots, and without you even needing to switch to that spell, you can just hit that key and thus activate it. And so, for example, I have slot 1 applied to my mouse side button, and I can just hit that, instead, and I can be on any spell. So we can be on slot 3, nothing selected, and as soon as I hit this, it doesn't jump to it, but it will use whatever spell is associated to that key. Another fun thing you can do is, well, you can dye your book, of course. And so we just dyed it orange. Very cool. Now, I've definitely kept an eye on my quests, and with all the stuff we just made, we've unlocked quite a few things, including a Glyph of the Fell. Now, keep in mind, these are tier 2 glyphs, and we can't get into them just yet because we have to upgrade to this tier of Spellbook. Now, notice, it's definitely doable. So let's go ahead and just jump right ahead into the tier 2 Spellbook. Right, it doesn't seem too bad. This doesn't have any like special requirements or anything like that to do. And when you do upgrade, don't worry about losing any of your glyphs or anything like that. They are carried over. So there we go. We now have a tier 2 Spellbook. This is really, really nice because we can now take our spells that we have that are tier 2 and learn them. And the Fell one is actually a really nice spell. We can also use the Firework now. So let's do a touch, and we'll set this to 1. And we'll just, you know, set this up to be used here. And this should allow us to fly with our Elytra, I believe. If we go to Self and Firework, let's create that. And as you can see, a firework just went off, and I can now fly around with my book by using the fireworks. It's kind of cool, right? Now the Fell's even cooler. It'll let you chop down an entire tree. So if you set it to touch and then you place the Fell, it will chop down the entire tree so long as it's broken the last bottom piece. Now this is all fun and such, but there's some things I want to get, like this Starbuncle Wheel, which will help us with create. This will actually give us some power. It's a little bit smaller. It takes up like a single block. It's not very big. A lot smaller than a regular water wheel, but it requires a Starbuncle Charm. So I'm going to have to get into the enchanting part of ours. So there's a lot of machines and things that we're going to need, and thankfully we can craft all of them pretty well at this point. One of them is an imbuement chamber, but as you can see, it's going to need this archwood material. And so let's go ahead and get this all set up. Let's create a let's create a touch and a Fell, and then we'll create this, and then we need to grow some trees. So let's do dirt, just like that. And we want to grow this. Let's get some saplings. We should have tons of them. There's blazing archwood, the vexing, we can go ahead and use it, no big deal. And bone meal. And we will throw this on top of the roof. Let's go ahead and make that spell again, right? Let's put this on slot 2, and we'll do Self and Firework on slot 2. That way we can just firework up. Oh, yeah, it's also kind of dangerous. There we go. Let's get on top of the building, because I don't have a dedicated area yet for growing trees. That'll be something I have to do later on. Let's place this in the middle. This tree grows kind of large, as you can see. Very large tree. But we should be able to now select the Fell and chop down. Now, of course, we're going to have to apply amplifies later on. I think right now we just don't have enough mana to really make this fully chop down the tree. But once we have enough mana, then we'll definitely be able to do that. You can see it says not enough mana. We're going to work on that for sure. So right now, an imbuement chamber is not necessarily something I'm going to need right away, but we will need these later on, and I'm doing it just for the quest right now. But we will need an enchanting apparatus, and we're also going to need some pedestals, and we're also going to need an arcane core. We did already make an arcane core, but we're going to need another one. With all those materials made, let's go ahead and get all of our stuff from our quest line. We get a cut glyph. All these glyphs are really nice that we're getting because it just saves us time on having to create some of them. So we also got some more pedestals. The more pedestals, the better. We're going to need a lot of them down the road. We also get some source relays, which is how we can transfer source from place to place. So yeah, so it talks about the ritual. That's the brazier that we're going to be using for rituals later on. But I also want to go down here. We're going to be working towards getting the mage bloom seeds, because I need the Mage Bloom, and it requires the enchanting apparatus, to be able to make the magic armor and the magic gear, which is really cool. I love the magic gear in this, and it is probably going to be our gear set for quite a while. Now, to set up the enchanting system, it's actually really simple. So you place down the Arcane Core, and then you put the enchanting apparatus above it, and then we just want to surround this with our pedestals. And this is what it's going to actually pull off of. Now, at the moment, we don't need 8, but we will need more down the road. And we're going to be making the source seed, right? The Mage Bloom seed. It's going to require source gems and seeds. So 4 of these and a seed, and we get to watch this incredibly satisfying animation. Place them in, doesn't matter what order, and then place the seeds, and then the magic happens. Oh, and the sound, it's really good. Oh, you gotta love this. And voila, we have a Mage Bloom seed. And this is going to be planted over here, and we can use bone meal on it, right? So more bone meal. Actually, I have some in my inventory. And yeah, we can just grow it like this. And there we go. We get ourselves some Mage Bloom. And Mage Bloom is then going to be used to make the Mage Fiber, which we need for a lot of our outfits. You can see right here, this is a Wixie hat. But we're also going to use this for an alteration table, which we definitely want to get into soon. There's a blues hat from Starbunkle Mania. Oh goodness, all kinds of cool things. I also think, is this used for anything as well? Used for pink dye as well. So I think as far as gear goes, I'm gonna go for the drippy look. This is the nice one. The sorcerer, I think the sorcerer looks really good. If you want to look more like a wizard, go for the arcanist. And then there's also the battle mage, which is like a warrior set. But I really like the sorcerer one. It looks kind of cool, and I haven't done it. I haven't used it before. So we basically put this in the enchanting apparatus. You can see the Mage Bloom, and we need a gold helmet. Basically, it's the same for all the different pieces. And yeah, we can even change the color of our gear. And this is all too satisfying to put together. Ah, very nice. And so I'll be going through this for each piece of gear. Oh, you gotta love it. I love the animations. The last one to the set. And there we go. I have the full set, and we are going to be super drippy now. Look at us. Wow, I was actually expecting the hat to be a little different, but it works. It works. It's kind of, at least my head's exposed. I really like that, actually. Look, I'm wearing a nice little scarf. You know, honestly, I wouldn't make all of the sets, and you know, I can put them on armor stands, but I kind of want to see what each one looks like. Now, the differences in tiers is, well, the first one is gold, this one is iron, and the other tier goes up to diamonds. So the last bit of the armor is crafted up, and so I do have all of the sets. So we have our sorcerers on, that's right now, that's what this looks like. And then we have this one, which is just good old classic. I love the way this one looks. I've definitely used it before. Absolutely fantastic. Now, here's another one that I have yet to see, and that is the Battle Mage. Ooh, the Battle Mage is sort of like, it's straight up a set of armor. Like, it's just like, it's like you're wearing a full suit and your hood's on. Whereas with this one, it looks like you're wearing a hoodie and you're lounging around the house with a short-sleeved hoodie. I'm sorry, I have to go with this one, but we are going to do something different with this piece of gear. I still think this one is honestly the best looking set. And I know I shouldn't be basing it off of the looks, I should be basing it off of what is actually possible with this gear, but I can't. It's just too good. It's just, I'll just go with the iron set, and we can make it incredibly powerful. So now let's do the fun part, and that is to dye all of our gear orange. I'm gonna be the orange witch. Ooh, it's got this like faded orange too. It's not like super bright or anything like that. Huh. That's interesting. And while I'm at it, I might as well hit this with some orange and this with some orange to keep that orange fill going. Now, to get even further into ours, we're definitely gonna need a scribes table. The scribes table is how we're going to is how we're gonna actually make the glyphs that we're going to use later on to give us more spells that we can use. It's like how you actually make spells. We're also going to need an alteration table. This is how we're going to modify our current gear. So you do have to use one to make the other. So now that we have both of these tables, let's kind of find a place. I am going to decorate this room. I don't think it's going to stay grass, but I am going to set this up. Let's go ahead and see where we can put a table. I think these tables go like sideways. Yeah, they go like this. So there we go. Oh, that one placed backwards. Let's place it there. Perfect. And I think this one is also placed backwards. You have to figure out what position these get placed in. So there we go. We have ourselves a scribe's table and an alteration table. Now, to do what I said earlier and apply my elytra to this piece of gear, I'm going to have to apply this threaded of the gliding to it. And I need to make blank threads. That's pretty simple. But you may notice that it's also requiring air essence, 2 of them to be exact. And this is where that imbuement chamber I was talking about comes into play. Let me show you how to use this, and we also might want to get source set up just to make this go a little bit faster. Now, in order to produce source, I'm going to be using a volcanic source link, probably one of the easiest methods of generating source. You can also generate them from crops and many other methods. Just look for the source links, and those will tell you all the information about it. But we are going to set this up. We need a source jar to be placed in a general area. I'm going to use a fence. Let's see, fence post to sort of raise this up and sort of put it into the center of the room. So let's have our source jar right here. And I'm going to try my best to get this to look like it's sort of hovering. So there it goes. So we have a source jar right here. And I'm going to place my source links right here on the wall. Underneath those, I want arcane pedestals. And I think this will reach. This should reach. And then we're going to need some hoppers hooked to the pedestals. This will be the easiest way to get our coal into it. And then have barrels next to that. So when I take some coal, now this isn't going to be automated, but we can always automate this later. If I put some coal in here, that should send into here. And our volcanic source link should read from it, unless it has to be directly to the side. That might be the case. With that, let me try putting the source link down here. And as you can see, that is now working. And it is flickering, which is exactly what you want to see, because it's utilizing that coal. And it should be sending source. Yep, you can see the occasional burst. And this jar is slowly filling up. So to be able to move the source around, which I just broke because I was trying to troubleshoot, it was actually detecting these pedestals in the back that were providing source. And it was causing my crafter to not work because this will actually detect all the way out 2 blocks away. So in a 5x5 area. So technically I should bring this one forward and then I won't have to worry about that. But there we go. We have a Dominion wand. This is going to be very important for using our source relays. So let's get this to work, because this is probably one of the most complicated parts of this mod, to be fair. We need to get source to the relay. So to do that, we'll use the Dominion wand, and we will click on here, just right click, no shift, and then we'll click onto the source relay. And so that takes the source and puts it into the source relay. Now, we want to send source to a jar. So let's send it to this jar over here. This can go up to 30 blocks away. Now to send it from here, we save the position of the relay and then we send it to the jar. And you'll see that is now sending source there. And that's how you move source around. Now the air essence is what we're trying to make, right? So we need this air essence. Thankfully I have one that I got from a quest. And these are going to be the items needed, but not all of them are going to get consumed. So let's go ahead and place our arcane pedestals, and then we'll place an imbuement chamber that's nearby. And what we need to do is we actually need to place the wilden feather, the wilden wing, the feather, and the arrow on these pedestals. These are sort of like the identifiers of what the craft's going to be. And then we just supply it with a source gem, and it is going to pull from this source jar. And it's going to craft up, and it should craft an air essence, and all these different essences have those different kind of items required. There's one required for every single essence type. Now, early on, before automating all of this, it probably is best practice to just keep all of these items, because they don't get used up, and just store them like so. right? So you have access to each of the different ones, so you don't have to pull it out every single time. So here we go. Let's make this bad boy. So we put a fresh elytra on there, and then we put this in, and we do our arcane crafting here. Or not arcane crafting, enchanting. This is the enchanting system. And then we get to take a look at how this table is going to function. So there we go. We have the thread of the gliding. Very cool. Let's get this placed back down. And it's kind of cool how this works, right? This is going to go in our chest piece. And what we do is we actually place the armor onto here. And then we place the glyph on the slot that we want to do. So perks require level 3 or higher slot, right? So before we can actually apply this, right, we're going to actually have to level this up. And there's a leveling system. As you can see, this is a tier 3 and this is a tier 2. So if you take 2 blaze rods and then we add some chorus and the ender pearls, we should be able to get here. So long as we actually have chorus, that might be a little bit of a problem. So it was at this point that, well, I had to get involved. This is a future chosen here. And, well, an update came out in between this recording and last. And, well, this thing is no longer available. I was going to be using an uncrafting grinder, which is a really cool thing. It's basically an uncrafter. But we're going to have to yeet this thing out of existence because it has now been disabled from the pack in a new update. So that means that I have to find chorus fruit in a different way. And so I was thinking, hostile neural networks is the only way outside it's the only way. It's the only way to get chorus fruit outside of going to the end. We are far from the end. I'm not planning on going to the end just yet. The end requires quite a bit. It requires Gaia spirits. So you, yeah, add Estra. You can take a rocket there. That's going to be the only other way. So yeah, crafting the portal frames require Gaia spirits, which means you have to go completely through Botania. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to craft up this right here. So this is the simulation chamber, and this is a loot fabricator. And we need all of these, and we're going to get into the hostile neural networks because we can use this material, the generalized ender predictions, to make chorus fruit. And that is going to be one of the easiest ways to do this. Now, to get the mobs, all we're going to have to do is go to our mob grinder and just take a model, a blank data model here, and we'll just have to kill a couple of mobs. Now, we're also going to need some predictions. Thankfully, we don't need a lot of this stuff. We only need enough for right now. You know what? It seems like slimes might actually be the easiest thing to do. So I have my slime set up, and so I should be able to put this inside of our deep learner. Like so, and then just kill some slimes. So there we go. I should have enough slimes. Yes. Okay. So it says 12 remaining. Now we should be fine. I just got to get this all turned back on, and then we can set the machines up. I'm sitting here trying to figure out why everything is black and white, and I have a skeleton skull on. What even? So now that those shenanigans are out of the way, simulation chamber. I can set that right there, and then the loot fabricator. Okay, so these are going to take a lot of power. You can see they're really consuming that power there. Now, we need to put the prediction matrix in. We need to put the slime inside. And so that goes up here, and then we put the prediction matrix in. And this is going to do its thing, right? It's going to be consuming a bit of power. 160, it looks like, RF. I might need to replace this transfer node with a battery, because right now it's only using what this is generating, which is not enough power. And there we go. We've already got a generalized overworld prediction, and we did get a slime prediction out of this as well. So now with enough of the generalized overworld predictions, we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this all crafted up. So to use this, we just need netherrack. So this combined with netherrack gets us 4. And because I only need 1, this is perfect for this. Bam. 1 generalized prediction and then an apple. And we combine this with an apple and we get the 1 chorus fruit I need to upgrade our chest piece. So let's upgrade our drip. Let's do it. So we just need 2 blaze rods for this, and this does require source for this particular craft. So you can see the source is going to be transferred right to that. Perfect. And this will get it to level 2, and then we'll use that chorus to get to level 3. And for that, 2 ender pearls and a piece of chorus fruit. Perfect. So now that it's crafted, we can put it in here, and we'll now have that 3rd slot that we can put it into, that level 3. And so that will apply. And this is modular, by the way. You can take this off and put it on at any time. So if you want to remove the flight at some point, you can definitely do that. Now, this isn't creative flight. We do have access to creative flight with those chorus that we actually just used. But this is just going to be kind of nice for flying to island, right? And the Dura, we don't really have to worry about it too much. It is pretty sweet. So let's do the fireworks, right? And as you can see, we glide around just as if we have an elytra on. Now, the last thing I want to mention is how to make glyphs, and this is honestly one of the most important parts, but that is that scribe table. You right click with your book onto here, and it'll show you all of the different tiers, and you can sort by tiers here. And let's say we want to make one of these, right? So we just kind of see what the required ingredients are. So Conjure Mage Block is going to require 3 levels of experience, and also it looks like 8 blocks of glass. So let's grab some glass, and also let's get a chest. So there's also these archwood chests that we can make. That's part of this mod. They're kind of cool looking. But let's put a chest next to it, because this will actually pull the items out of the chest. And so if we have this glass here and we click this, we should now be able to make that. Where is it at? It was the Conjure, right? Conjure Mage Block. If we select it, which it is, it's selected, it will now activate, and it's going to pull them out. This doesn't cost any of the source or anything like that, but it'll pull it out of the chest, or you can just click the items on here if you want, but it's probably best to just use a chest. And there we go. It'll spit it out, ready to go for you. Just pick up, and then you right click, and there you go. Conjure Mage Block. And a lot of these different things, as you can see, a lot of these glyphs require, random items, a lot of different random stuff. So you will have to put things together. But some of them also require those essences that we just learned how to make. So the more glyphs you craft, by the way, the larger your overall mana pool that you see in the bottom left mana bar, the more mana overall you will have. So it's definitely best practice to try and craft as many of the glyphs as possible. And with that, this has been Ars Nouveau today, and we are going to be using this extensively through this playthrough, as this is an incredibly powerful mod, and I absolutely love it. And there's so many add-ons. There's even a storage option if you really wanted to get into this as a storage mod. There's an add-on for that. And it's all mentioned in the quest book. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this journey. And if you would, click that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that nice little subscribe. We're getting close, so ever close to the 600,000 subscriber mark. That is just mind-boggling, and I can't do it without you guys. I do appreciate you very, very much, and at this point, I think it's time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that huge thanks is going to go to DDead12. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Now, keep in mind, if you do want to support in other ways, there is still Patreon, if you're familiar with that, and YouTube members here, which is a great option as well. All of that is handled through the Discord with all of our integration, and you get things like supporter servers, including this as a supporter server. We do have an FTB Skies server up as of the time of this recording. And so long as people's playing on it, we keep them up. So, guys, I really do appreciate you. See you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching. You know, I've been thinking about this all day long. Can dyslexic wizards spell? I'm sorry.